This episode of Side Talking is brought to you by Kool-Aid's Hot Rod Shop, specialising in hot rod and strip machine builds, resprays, bodywork, fabrication, chassis work, turnkey builds and trimming. They do a fast turnaround on builds, so if you have a project that's stalled, give them a call. Check them out on Instagram. On this episode of Side Talking, we're speaking with Norm Longfield. Back in the early 70s, he blew the hot rod scene away with his red tea bucket. From then, he's built heaps of cars, dragsters, you name it, he's done it. He's even got into WW2 Planes. We can't wait to speak to Norm about his life. Righto, welcome along to Side Talking, Norm Longfield. I've been looking forward to this interview because I know you've had a crazy history with cars and planes and everything automotive. So I'd like to speak to you about all the stuff you've done. So how did you originally get into the whole car scene? What was a light bulb moment?
Well, no different to everybody else, I suppose, that's out there. Started off with dinky cars, model cars, finally building some models up and all that sort of stuff, then joining different model kits together to sort of make what you wanted to make out of it all, and just never grew out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was your first car?
My first car and everything else like that, well, the first car was a grey FJ Holden, actually. It used to belong to the guy next door when we lived in Granville and Guildford.
Yeah.
My dad bought it to drive it to and from work. This is back in 1965. And then he drove it for a while. Then he sort of, I became interested in, he knew I was interested in cars. That's all I ever wanted. I was only 16 at the time, about 12 months before I even got my licence. He got another car and gave me the FJ so I can tinker with it and get it ready. So I spent the next 12 months, pulled the motor out, stripped the motor, because my dad was a mechanic. So he helped me, taught me everything about it, basically.
Yeah.
We changed this, changed that. We had reverse bloody wheels on them and everything else like that. Like that was the thing of the day on FJs. Wide wheels are a hard thing to get in 65, obviously. So you used to take the rim off a custom line, spin it around because it was wider and smoother. They weld the centres back in, you painted them white and put a hubcap in the middle. That was about as good as you got. So.
And then from then you ended up with another FJ.
Yeah, that's right. While I was still driving the grey, or we called it the grey FJ because it was undercoat.
Yeah.
I found another body. The car itself had been customised reasonably well. A few things had been falling apart of it, like the customs in those days were more nicky than they were goddamn metal.
Yeah.
So, but it looked really cool. So I ended up, we bought that for $500, I remember. Yeah. Pulled the motor out of the grey one then, spent a bit of time with the grey, with that, and we, eventually we got a set of mag wheels for it. I bought those wheels back in, 67, 60, something like that. And with those ones, it was come from Mag Wheel City. They were in Sydney. They were about the first mag wheel company in Australia.
Yeah,
You couldn't just buy them over the counter. You had to order them, see what you were going with them. So we ended up with 6 inches on the front, 11 inches, believe it or not, on the rear.
Wow, that's crazy.
The only tyres we could get to fit were Firestone Super Sports Indy that they used to run on the Indy cars. And talking about, you couldn't, there was no such thing as tubbing. No such thing as shortening a diff. No one even knew how to do it. And even the drag cars used to be a mile wide and handle like shit. So we ended up, you had to cut the guard out, flare the guard, so you cover the tyre and stuff like that.
Yeah, we got a crazy couple of photos of that car with it just jacked up.
Yeah, we jacked it up.
I mean, back in the day, they would have been, having huge rims like that would have been pretty rare, really.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're only 18, so we're still mucking around trying to, 18, 19, we're still trying to get ourselves organised. Didn't know which way to go exactly. You'd try something, then you'd try something else, and all you had was bits of information from the States and what they were doing, so you sort of, that looks cool, that looks good, this looks great. When you look back at it now, you think, oh, God, what a piece of shit.
Yeah, it has some crazy cool custom stuff on it, like the roll pan, the tail lights, livered bonnet.
Yeah, we had 61 Pontiac tail lights in it, recessed headlights. One of the things I punched 72 louvers in the bonnet after I got it because I didn't have louvers. Louvers seemed to be the thing of the day. So 72 louvers, that was a bit of a mistake. We found out that every time you parked the car, you had to park it uphill. You couldn't park it downhill because as soon as it rained, the water would just run through 72 louvers and the car would never start again.
Never start, yeah. That's crazy.
So that was a bit of a mistake on that part of it. In fact, another thing happened. When we punched the louvers on, it took us about 3 weeks to punch the louvers. So we took the car off, we took the bonnet off, and it was off for 3 weeks. And I'm still driving it around. Got pulled over in Granville by the cops. He looks at it, because the motor's all done up in chrome and carbies and all that sort of stuff. So he looked at it, he says, no, you can put your hands in the fan, that's no good, no, you can't drive it with the thing. He says, what I'll do, son, and everything goes like that, where do you live? Gives me the licence. Where do you live? Okay, not that far away. Take it home, leave it in the driveway to get the bonnet on. Okay, thank you very much, all right? And our place was 3-car driveway. The last one in was the first one out. It wasn't a dual driveway. No garage, the garage was down the back. So anyways, I drove it home. I drove around for about another week. I had to. It was the only car I had, regardless. And then I came home one afternoon and everything else like that. And my mum, she had to go down the road to get milk and bread and all that. I was the last one in. And my mum could drive. So she jumped in the thing, all that was going boop, 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 and all this sort of rubbish, right? She went down there, and when she got to come out the shop, lo and behold, there's a copper standing right at the door, all right? You driving this? Yeah. Whose car is it? Oh, it's my son's. I pulled him over about a week ago, and I told him to take it home, leave it there. So anyways, when Mum come home, I was, my dad, get all the cars out. This car's going down the backyard. I got the keys, and that was it.
That was it.
So it didn't go anywhere then until the bonnet went on.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And you eventually sold that down the track?
Yeah, well, what it was and everything else like that, I was at Tech one day and everything else like that. We had this thing parked out in the street. Whenever I can get into the Tech to park it, I used to be able to, because, it was done up and all that. But a lot of times you couldn't get into the Tech parking it, so you're out in the street. And we finished Tech, and one of the other guys, he says, Norm, don't go anywhere near the car. There's the copper in a Rambler Rebel. That they used to use Rambler Rebels in them days, right? Because they were the only V8s around. Yeah. Rambler Rebel is round the corner there, and they're watching your car like glue. As soon as you get anywhere near it, they're going to jump on you. All right, so okay, so it was a waiting game for about an hour. All right, the other Tech guys are coming in, some are going, and because they're still sitting. So when they left, I left.
Yeah,
right?
okay.
And that wasn't the worst part about it. They got me. There's no two ways about it. About a week after that, I think I was going down. I remember that was Auburn, Mona Street, I think it was, Mona Street, and everything else like that. I'm sitting behind 2 other cars. I remember it like it was like yesterday, because it's like having an accident. When something that really you remember.
You remember it, yeah.
But anyways, we're driving along here, and next minute, whoosh, goes a Rambler Rebel. I said, oh shit. As quick as I could look from driving out the windscreen into the rear vision mirror, he's sideways. I said, oh mate, I'm dead now, I'm gone. Yeah. So he pulled us over, looked at it. Yep, okay. Those days, they could take the plates off you. So,
yeah, okay.
License, yep, okay. I'll follow you home. We're going to take the plates. The plates will be at Parramatta Motor Registry. There's a defect on the screen. When you get it all fixed up, take it over to Parramatta Registry and get the plates. Well, that stage I was a bit pissed off. I'd been ages, 2 years building this up and mucking around with it, all right? And admittedly, the things they had done to it, they might have been illegal, I suppose, in everyone's eyes. It wasn't the way. Because in the old days, everything goes like that. Now they've got tubbing and they can't do this and you can't do that. But they used to take a measurement from the centre of each tyre from side to side. And they had a book. If it was this car, this car, this car, this car, you can only go 2 inches in that, which gives you, 74 inches or something. You know what I mean? Well, we were outside that debuggery. So to do that, we'd have to take...
huge wheels on that thing.
Yeah. So I said, that's what started me with hot rodding. Said, okay, I'm going to build a hot rod. They haven't got a goddamn book to say what a hot rod rear wheel width is going to be like. Yeah. So we ended up, I sold the car. So this is something that, you might be able to understand me a bit more. And I do get upset about it. Sold the car. About 2 weeks after that, no, it wasn't more. It was more of a month. A month after that, I got word from one of the other mates. The guy who bought it off me, had an accident on the road somewhere. Left it into the trees, lost it on a corner or something like that. It was. But the worst part about it, he had his younger brother with him, and they both died.
Wow, terrible.
I said, I'll never sell. Sorry about that. Never sell another car I built.
Yeah, and you've done that. You've kept all your cars. Yeah,
That's it.
I can understand why. Because a lot of guys buy and sell them over the years, but you've got the whole fleet still.
Yeah.
Because of that reason.
It's the same reason. And I never will.
Yeah.
But that's history now, anyways. But
yeah.
it's just one of them. That's one of them. It wasn't my fault. I wasn't driving or doing anything else like that. But I built something. And when you build something, you get, the drawbacks of the car.
Yeah.
How it handles, what it feels like, what's this. But anybody can go fast. Just put your foot down. That's easy. Driving, it's another thing.
Yeah, totally different. Especially if you don't know the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then you end up getting to doing the T-bucket after that.
Yeah, that's where the that's where the wheels went to, onto the T-bucket.
Oh, so they were the wheels on the T-bucket.
Yeah, okay. But we changed the wheels before we even finished the T-bucket because
right.
We thought it would all sit real good, but it didn't. So we ended up changing them before we even finished building it. Yeah.
So how long did it take to do the T-bucket? A couple of years?
Oh, 2 years.
2 years. That's a pretty quick build, really.
Yeah, that's right. But the good thing about them days that you were a T-bucket's not a hard thing to build. Like, it's not that complicated.
Yeah.
And it's, what would you call it now? It's and you've got more time.
When you're
young,
single, you've got
you're
less.
Single. You haven't got to worry in the world.
Less distractions.
Yeah, mate. Like couldn't wait to come home and race into the garage and keep on building it.
Yeah.
Now I'm 77 or just about 77. You nearly got to drag me into the garage.
Yeah. Well, you've done all the hard yards.
Yeah.
Over the years. Yeah. So you basically built that more like an American style bucket in the end.
Yeah. I've always like I said before, everything I've ever done has always had the American influence, I suppose you'd call it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I mean, when that hit the scene, it sort of blew them away because no one had probably heard of you, I suppose, at the time.
No,
it sort of come out of nowhere.
No. Like I said, I still like to keep a low profile. 80% of the hot rodders don't even know what I look like. They will after this, I suppose.
They will after this. They'll get your autograph.
I keep it sort of to yourself.
Yeah. But I mean, that car, it hit the scene, and then you had all these famous cars that were winning, and you've just come out of nowhere, and they've gone, who's
this? Hager and Perotta and
Perotta's car won everything, and then you've just come out and So
Yeah.
the first show you hit was at Bankstown or something, was it?
Bankstown, 1970.
1970, okay. And then you ended up doing that, and then going to Victoria and doing more shows.
Yeah. We ran it all over the place, and because that was just after I finished the car, put it in the hot rod show. I was drafted. Went to Vietnam. Went to Vietnam. Yeah. So that sort of slowed things down a bit. But when we come back, then we showed it a bit more around the countryside and stuff like that.
Yeah. So that was the first lottery you've ever won?
The first what, sorry?
The first lottery.
Yeah, so it wasn't the best, I suppose. But we're all going to do what we've got to do.
Yeah, you had no choice, really.
I was drafted and had to go to Vietnam. So it was a sort of, after the hot rod party was a sort of a farewell to Norm to go to Vietnam from the local, the boys. So I must have went around and bloody had a drink with just about everybody in the hall, and I got pissed, absolutely pissed to the eyeballs. So much so, I got to go to the loo. And one of the other mates, Mal, he said, I'll take him to the loo. So I went into the loo and everything else like that, slipped and fell into the trough, completely, the whole length of the trough, right? Mal said, I grabbed the back of your shirt, because it was the only bit of dry clothes you had, and I pulled you out of the trough. And I said, then we marched you outside and put you in the back of the car. We said, we put your arms, head and everything else out through the windows, put your arms on the side of the door so you couldn't fall back again, and you chucked up just about all the way back.
How funny is that?
But that was the sort of a fair. Then a couple of days later, they took me down to the airport.
Yeah, straight to Vietnam.
Yeah.
And then what happened with that? You're over there. You ended up taking off there one day with your mates.
Yeah. We're over there, and it's like, don't forget, we're all 19, 20, 21, or whatever the case may be. And an opportune time came that we could. I was on you're in the Nui Dat, which is the bush camp. But people used to cover for everybody else. You know, you were busy. So where's Longfield? Oh, I think I seen him over at Bizzo's, and I think he was over here, or I think he was there. So they'd cover you up basically. So three of us were in this Land Rover, and we went. I went as virtually a shotgun, because we weren't covered to go there. We sort of went there and then come back again. We had to go 2 days there, I think it was. So I'm sitting at the front on the Land Rover. It's got an open flap at the front, and I had an Armalite out that one, the driver, and the other guy and everything else. He was in the back with the flap open. He had a one too, and that was our protection. Because what happened? And then we're driving down the road heading for Saigon, which is Ho Chi Minh City today, right? And then these two Yui Cobras come down, because there's a killing zone either side of all the roads when we're there. There's a killing zone of 200 metres either side, and nothing is allowed in the 200 metres. Animals, nothing. They shoot them up. And these two Yui Cobras come screaming down. We're going this way. They come screaming down, doing about 200 mile an hour either side, covering this 200 thing. That scared the shit out of us. There's someone's around. So anyway, so we got into Saigon, and we partied for 2 days, and it was and to get out of the place, when we go out you go through a boom gate. We went out through the boom gate, and I said, yeah, we'll be back in a minute. We're checking the wire, the perimeter. Okay, right. We work on the assumption that they would have changed guards about 15 times before we get back. So when we're coming back, I said, wire's okay, we're all right, no worries, safe, and we drove back in again. You know, so it just disappeared. But when we realised later on, it says, oh shit, if we were being shot up and got into any action out there, no one would have a clue where we were.
No, they didn't even know you were there.
We were 50 kilometres down the road somewhere, they didn't even know where they were. And everyone else was telling them we're over at the shit house somewhere.
It was a good idea at the time.
Mate, it broke, like all those sort of things, it broke the boredom.
Yeah.
And there was boredom, even in war, there's still boredom.
Yeah. And then you eventually changed it to a blown bucket, didn't you, down the track?
That's another thing too. Yeah, we've done it without the blower. Then we put the blower on it. This is the funny thing. Okay, we took it to Valor Park. Yep. This was just Rhonda and myself, my wife, Rhonda and myself. And then I walked up to her. She's in the cabin, and I says, honey, have you any tampons? Did you bring tampons with you? And she says, yeah. Give me the box. Yeah. What do you want it for? Don't worry about it. Just give me the box. Yeah. So it went out to the bucket and everything else. I had a bit of bloody oil coming out of because in those days, everything else, we used to recycle the oil from the engine through all the gear drives and back down into the rocker cover again to sump it. Because that kept it lubricated for one. Two, we didn't know how hot these cases were going to get and breathe and all that sort of stuff. So we thought the best way to recycle the oil from the motor, all right? So I had a slight oil leak coming out the bottom of the front cover, right, making a bit of and run down the side. And it didn't look cool, this car. We just got it done all sparkle clean. You got this bit of an oil dream. So I got these 3 tampons, and I'm putting them on the side and on this side and jamming them into the side to make a bit of a reservoirs and push them right in so you can hardly even see them. And about every 2 hours, you're driving around doing that, you come back in, busy, grab the string and yep, they're fine. So get another 3 out the box and push them in here and push them in here and all that sort of stuff. So, I never did tell her. She found out eventually what I was using them for.
She'd be real happy.
Then I get back home again, from Valor, and you're watching TV, and you're looking at TV and everything else, and an ad comes on for tampons. And the girl on the TV said, on the ad says, keep a box of tampons in because when you're travelling and all this sort of stuff, you never know when you need them. And I says, I know exactly what she means now. So for 12 months after that, there was a box of tampons in the box tray, in the toolbox.
Yeah, okay, wow. Yeah. And was that about the same time you changed it to the wires on the front of the car as well? Yeah,
we played around with the fronts a few. First of all, we had real light wires on it. And they were good for, but they were much the same as what they run on the front of a dragster.
Right.
We put the appropriate brakes things on it, but it was they were too not strong enough. I could see it. You could feel it with the handling and everything else.
Yeah.
So then we got some Roadster wires from the States and put them on there.
Yeah. Okay.
Decent sized tyre. They look cool with those motorbike front wheels, but it's no, it wouldn't work.
See, we've done a few years with the show scene with that car, wouldn't you?
Yeah. My dad took it once when I was in Vietnam to some show too. I think it was once at Newcastle. So yeah, it was. I'm quite happy with it. Actually.
I mean, I'd seen photos. I'd never seen a car in real life. I might have seen it at Bankstown back in the day, but then when they had the historic cars at Sydney Hot Rod Show a few years ago,
yeah, a couple of years ago,
when I rang you and said, "Do you want to put it in?" and you brought it in, and that was the first time I saw it up close.
Yeah.
And a lot of people hadn't seen it for years.
No,
you know, that was a real great thing having it there.
No.
And it looks exactly as it did back in the day.
Oh yeah, we went to the trouble of even you mightn't have even realised at the show it was the same fence, the same this, the same signboard, and all that as 1971 or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's amazing.
the same lighting even. The lights where they were because, you know, got a big shed. You take that foam, you just throw it in a box.
Yeah, and you've still got the whole lot ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So after that was sort of the show scene was done with that. Then you moved on and you built that Model A Roadster Pickup, the rear-engined car.
Yeah, that's right.
So how did that come about? What was the idea with that?
I was at the time. I'm not knocking anybody. At the time, rodding was everything looked the same.
Yeah, it did.
There was either a yellow one, a blue one, a grey one, a black one. Nearly everyone was into the same 2 or 3 different types of wheels. And I said I was going to start playing with another one, but I wanted something a bit different, something to keep me motivated, you know.
Yeah.
So out of the blue, I just said, "Oh yeah, we'll go for a rear engine car. That sounds something different, all right." So that didn't take that long either, considering everything else like that. We run get in an Oldsmobile El Dorado drivetrain type of thing. That most of the work on that was getting that bloody rear engine, the rear engine to work more than anything. Because we didn't run an Oldsmobile engine, we put a big block Chevy in it, and I wanted to learn more about. At that stage, I knew a bit more about blowers for the street. That is
After the bucket.
After the bucket, you learn a bit more. Then now other people start to muck around with it, and you don't need to recycle the oil. You can put it in, put a breather on it, and all that.
Yeah.
Sealed rear main bearings too. You know, but I wanted to learn more about blowers and all that, and injection. In fact, before that, and everything else we'll talk about in a minute. Before I'd done the rear engine one, we were playing with the, I got a 69 Corvette.
Oh yeah.
Right, and I tried to put 8-port injection on that, all right, and running on the street, running on petrol. Well, constant flow injection in those days was really constant flow injection, not like the time fuel injection you got now, right? So I wanted to learn more about that at the same time. You know, so we went constant injection, but instead of trying to go petrol, because at that stage we figured out petrol's no good for the street. We just cannot get injection to work properly. Constant flow on the street. It keeps on fueling, plugs up and fueling itself up, and it's all right for a drag car because you're idle for a couple of seconds and it is flat out, then it's off it again. Well, you can't just make the things go. You keep on losing cylinders and pain in the arse. So we wanted to learn more about that sort of stuff. So we had to go methanol for the thing. So yeah, threw a few things together, and you know, and the reason it nickname was the boat. There's that much bloody drivetrain under there. Even one axle goes straight through the something out the other side.
Wow.
It's the only way it could work. And in fact, the axle goes through in between the 2 floating rods and goes with the crank, with a separate generator. So the sump is really built in like 2 pieces, and the axle goes through.
That's through it. That's crazy. Crazy engineering.
Yeah, so to get that was all working real well, and I got that. But the exhaust, well, there was no goddamn room to put any exhaust pipes. So we ended up putting boat exhaust on it out the back.
Yeah.
So then it got the nickname the boat.
I mean, when I first saw it, I think it was at Valor, and you turned up with it,
Yeah.
and everyone's like, "What the hell? This is crazy." Putting around, like, it was nothing really like that car, and there still isn't really.
No. It was just one of them things that people. And another thing too that people might realise, understand a bit more about me. I've never built a street rod.
Yeah.
Right. I've only ever built hot rods. All right. Now, my definition of a hot rod is about 2 clicks less than a drag car or a race car. All right. And it's something that you never went out the metropolitan area with because it's too far to tow it back home.
Go.
All right. So that's the theory of the hot rods. So.
Well, that ticks the box.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The only good thing about it, we've never had to tow that one home. Believe it or not.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, it's a crazy bit of gear, wasn't it? And you've still got that obviously as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we've got some really good photos of that. And before that, or around that, I think before that, you had the big block Corvette.
Yep.
Which was a famous photo, which was on the front
on
cover
the front page of the
Street Machine.
the
Van
first
Wheels.
issue.
first issue of Street Machine, which was still sort of half van wheels.
Van wheels, that's right.
And back then that was a big deal having a Corvette, wasn't it? Really, especially a big block 4-speed thing. It was very rarely seen, back in the day.
That's right. That was okay. Hadn't been married for very long and everything else like that. My wife was pregnant, and I said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to get a Corvette. You've got a baby. Now I'm going to buy a Corvette. That's fair." So she wore that. So
wow.
So I ended up getting the Corvette. Then we modified it because in those days, it was a big block. In those days, I mean, you couldn't register left-hand drive. In New South Wales. It really had to be right-hand drive. So we had to convert it, and then we put a set of 10-inch Ansons all the way around it and flared the guards a bit more and dropped it on the deck and put side pipes on it. What else was there? And then that's when I started. I was saying before about we put Hillborn downport injection on it. And in the end, this is just getting too goddamn hard, so we ended up putting a tunnel ram on it instead and two 600s.
Two carbies, yeah.
We were very lucky because we already had the thing cut out to fit the injector, cut out to do this. Lucky we put it in there, and because the bonnet still cleared all the tunnel ram.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And then fast forward after that car in the Model A, you ended up doing a Willys coupe.
Yeah.
Which had the Hemi in it.
That was straight after the...
It was after the Roadster Pickup.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I forget myself now.
Yeah, so that was after the Roadster Pickup.
Yeah.
And that was a crazy car as well.
Yeah, that took 5 years. That's about the hardest... That was the hardest one I've ever built, I think, and the longest. But I wanted to... at that stage there was no Willys around. There wasn't.
Pretty rare.
There was a Stu Willys Australian built body floating around somewhere, I think, if I remember correctly. I said, yeah. Everyone was talking about Willys. I ended up going to the States. I got a mould. I brought it back and I made a few bodies. And I said, well, in the end, if I go buy a body and bring the body back, and if I bend something, I'm screwed. Right? So it's better to go over there, bring a mould back, than I make mine. And if I bend something, I wasn't going to sell them originally, just keep it for repairs. All right. So, but I wanted to build the thing and everything else to do 3 jobs. I wanted to have it so it was I could race it, I could drive it on the street, and I could show it.
Yeah.
All right. So I think that's the reason it took 3 years. The Street Rod Committee, I was building it under rules and regulations for the Street Rod Committee, not knocking them guys, anything else like that, but I think in the end it just got a little bit too wild. We qualified for put all the ticks, but the ticks didn't make it legal, you might say.
Yeah.
Okay. Each individual one, you've done this, you've done this, you've done that, you've done this, you've done that. In fact, we even built it much heavier than stronger than what I would have ever done it before. Because the main chassis rails had to be a certain spec and all that sort of rubbish. But so yeah, we did after a lot of time and effort, and we ran an aluminium Milliden in it because we did have an iron block 426, but we dropped about 200 pound out of it by putting an aluminium block in it.
Yeah.
And heads. What else can you say about that?
So you ended up that went to Sumnats first, did it?
Yeah. We went to, what was it, the street? Yeah, Sumnats, Christmas, because we just finished, we took it to Valor Park first, just in an undercoaty sort of pinky colour, right?
I think I saw it. I think I saw it at Valor like that originally, yeah.
Yeah, we just got the colour going, but it wasn't painted, we're still tossing it around. So yeah, then we painted it. Greg Saddle and everything else like that, Ziggy and myself, we worked on it for about 2 months just to get it to the Sumnats, and we done well there. We got a fair few prizes there on it, and drove it around and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, okay.
It's not in some parts of it. It's just about got a backup for everything. We've got 2 ways of starting. We've got 2 different fuel systems. We've got 2 different water systems in it. I can carry about 160 litres of water, a coolant in it and everything else. It pumps up the outside chassis rail in this tubular box section chassis rail 3B2. The water pumps up into there to the end behind the seat. It goes through a tank across the back of the seats. It goes then back into the other chassis rail, goes through that chassis rail, out of that chassis rail, and it goes up into a radiator. The radiator is only so small, so it'll never cool the thing down, but the fact that you're circling it through the chassis and the air going underneath it and 160 litres in it. So it goes into a tank at the front, and then from that tank it goes into the engine. But it also goes up the 2 strut rails. There's 2 rails that go up the whole the front end there. It goes up them, and then the 2 hoses come out of there into the back of the heads.
That's crazy, isn't it?
All right. We can shut that down for racing purposes. We don't need to carry 160 litres of water.
Yeah.
So we can shut all that down and just use it from the tank at the radiator in through the heads, and just keep that circuit like a normal system. Same as the fuel. We carry about 120 litres of methanol in it.
Okay.
Again, as a tank all built into the same shape as the car at the back, we pump the fuel from there to another tank at the front. There's a tank just near the radiator. And I want all these other tanks up the front and the radiator, I want to make it look like, if you tilted or took the front off, it looked like a gasser.
Yeah.
Not a radiator up like this and a big fuel tank. They're just round moon tanks and a little radiator. So yeah, we pump the fuel to the front tank, and that's flowing constantly all the time. 24/7. As soon as we jump in the car and turn the ignition on, it's flowing fuel.
So a lot of work had went into sorting all that out.
Yeah. And then from there, from that one, if we're racing it, we just pick it up straight into the injector pump and then run the car. But if we're on the street, we keep this fuel going around, because this other thing is the tank on the front, the moon tank on the front, is enough to run it a quarter of a mile, or even on the street. You want to give it a hard time, you can go bang, hit it, the fuel will start coming down. But meanwhile, the fuel's still coming in, but you won't drain that tank under full load for a couple of miles.
Yeah, right.
So as soon as you back off, it all fills back up again. So you've got enough there. They called them something very the same as a surge tank they used, but we just got a bigger version of one, and took it from there. Instead of trying to put a float valve in it, we just recycled it.
And did you race that at one stage?
Yeah, we raced it a few times. We raced it down in Canberra, raced it at Eastern Creek, the old Eastern Creek.
Yeah. So what did it end up running in the end?
We ran about 160 mile an hour. I forget the time now. Again, we would have liked it better than that, because of we carry an exit, but we try to get as much weight out of it when we ran it as possible, like the fluids more than anything.
And also, did it win Summernats? Top
when it went to the Summernats, we run the we won everything at the Summernats, but we didn't get the sword. They told me this because Greg and I just finished painting it, right? You understand that? Now they said if you do 1 lap of the oval at Summernats on the gravel surface, right? You'll won everything anyway. You got the points. You got to get the sword. And I said, I ain't taking it on the circuit. Forget it.
One of the great things about Summernats 7 is that we've got a greater contingent of hot rodders here. Not just hot rodders, but hot rodders with their hot rods. And it's great to see some of the people that have been involved in the scene for a long, long time, still building cars, and people such as Norm Longfield. Norm, you've been in the scene for a long time, haven't you?
Yeah, since 68 actually.
Is that right?
Yeah.
That's a fair time. What was the first hot rod you ever built?
We built a little blown bucket back in 68.
Is that right? That would have been pretty radical, a blown car then.
Yeah, it was. It was virtually the first street blown bucket around. In those years, I mean, blowers were just coming into drag racing.
Yeah, well, you've gone a fair way now with the Willys. Yeah, I mean, you've taken a blown car to the nth degree, I think.
We tried to. It's 426 blown, all aluminium Millerton. It runs blower pistons, aluminium rods, cast aluminium heads, stainless steel valves. It's got an 871 supercharger, Endley fuel injection. We run on methanol. We carry 160 litres of fuel on board via 2 fuel systems. The first fuel system brings it from the rear to the front tank and then into the Endley injector. We carry 127 litres of coolant on board. It's pumped through the chassis rails to the back storage tanks, then back up through the front, then through the radiator. The horsepower of the engine is approximately 1,200 horses. We have another engine for a later stage to race. It approximately pushes out 2,000 horsepower. The steering is a home fabricated unit, tilts for easy access into the car. The 2 buttons and controllers on here actually change gears on the 2-speed Lanco, air shifted with 800-pound pressure. The body itself is fiberglass with approximately 35 coats of DuPont in a range of colours and overlays. The wheels are Halabrand. The wing at the back and everything else like that is chrome moly and Lexan in the same configuration of a AA fuel car. When we first started building the car, we had a model wind tunnel tested to give us this height and location. The car has taken approximately 5 years to build, an awful lot of money and a lot of sweat, and I'm still happily married.
Of course, as impressive as Norm Longfield's 41 Willys is, there's a huge variety in the type and style of cars presented for judging by their enthusiastic owners.
So basically, the Willys was sort of show car and drag car.
Show car, drag car, and we've used. I remember one of the best things on as far as street goes. We driving from Valor Park into Nambucca and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Fred and myself.
Yeah, and Fred Cavassini.
Fred Cavassini. We're going through the cutaways in down the highway and the noise, and yeah, it was a really cool deal.
Awesome car.
Yeah, but
no, we've got some really good photos of that car, and then there's a really good photo of the Avon Jet engine in your driveway. So what's the story about that?
Yeah, okay. What it was is, again, thinking about different, a throwback from the rear engine car, says, well, wouldn't it be really cool, we couldn't get it registered, wouldn't it be really cool with a jet engine in a hot rod? That'd be really, really cool. We just finished the Willys at that stage, right? So I said, yeah, I'll toss it around for about a month or something like that, and looking around the place. And I found this Avon Jet. It was out of a Sabre. That's what they used to use in the Korean War.
Yeah.
A huge engine, right? So we got that and it goes like that. And so I've done a drawing of what we're going to put it in. We're going to put it in, since I had the body moulds for the front part, we're going to put it in a Willys panel with deuce on all the sides, but they all deuced on so we can get to the engine to work on it and all this, and air intakes on either side of it, and close the cabin a bit tighter to get the air intakes in. And we're going to have dual wheels at the back, not dualies, but just like two and two wheels to hold the weight of the engine. This thing weighed a tonne or a half or something, at least. So, okay, I had all the drawings and said, well, okay, while we're doing that, before we start doing all this, let's get the engine going. We've got it here now. So I ended up getting some other bits and pieces we needed for it. And so it was on a stand already. So I said, well, okay, we'll get a 44-gallon drum of Jet A1 and all that, and some other lubricants, and we'll get these. I didn't have a trembler switch. Now a trembler switch is like a magneto that throws a spark into the engine just to get it going. You just hit the trembler switch when the motor's running. You shut the trembler switch off because the flame's inside. So we got all that together, made up a bit of a thing, put a tank up there so it's gravity feed back into the engine and all that. So we over the top of that. So a couple of mates came around and said, we're going to do it. We got all that stuff. Then we got 3 bottles of, Jesus, what was it? Nitro something that was it, compressed air, nitrogen.
Okay.
And so we had all them, because the starting system, I think else, was an air operated starting system, because back in Korea, you landed and took off from the same spot, and they just wheel this on the back of a truck, wheel the thing up, hook up the compressed air, start it, and then go again, you know? So we got all this stuff we needed to do. So we said, well, okay, got a chain. We chained it to the telegraph pole. Don't know how this thing's going to go. So we got this bloody chain that held the Queen Mary down. Right, took it to the telegraph pole, brought it back, and hooked it back onto the movable frame of the engine with the cradle it was sitting on. Then we said, okay, let's do this. So we all got down there and hit the nitrous on. I turned the trembler switch on, turned the fuel on, and everything else, and it was winding over. Then it started a bit of a rumble and a bit of a jetty sort of a noise. So I said, I'll have a look. So I ran around the back of it, and I ran out. We live in a cul-de-sac, so it's a fair bit out. So it was on the driveway. I ran around to the cul-de-sac and everything else, and is it working? Yeah. Holy shit, it's hot. And I was bloody 100 foot away from it. Holy shit, yeah, there's a flame in there, I can see it, yeah. So it came up to speed then, and all was running really well. And anyway, and then stop. Brenton was running. Brenton, what did you turn it off for? I didn't turn it off. It ran out of fuel already. Yeah, wow. It's like we figured that this is thirsty. Yeah. Wow. So we said, okay, no, that's not good. We've got a bit more fuel, and it goes like that. We can put a bit more fuel. We'll put a bit more fuel in it. By that stage, half the neighbourhood and around surrounding area was in the cul-de-sac.
Going, what the hell's going on?
Some guys have come down and he says, yeah, I was a couple of streets away and I was mowing the lawn. I could hear this thing belting out. And I wonder what it was. And a couple of guys, I thought a helicopter landed in the cul-de-sac. I came down to see what was going on. You know? So we had a bit of a crowd. So then my wife was saying, and mother says, we better not do it again. I said, all the people that are here are good. All the people that aren't here are on the telephone right now. You know? So if we do it again, we're going to get grabbed.
Yeah.
So, okay. Lucky they said that. So then we shut it down and we're all patting each other on, there, it goes really good, Then my daughter, she's only young at that stage. She said, Dad, I'll sing it out to you. Stop it. Because it was out the front of our place where the driveway is, there's a couple of big trees. And in the trees and everything else, we got a couple of budgies and everything else, and they used to hang in their cage on the tree, and we had a bit of a top over it, and all winter time they might have been inside, but summertime we used to let them out with the other birds, and it was good for them. She says, mate, it was in front of the engine. The cage is going bananas, it's going side by side, the water's pouring out of it, the budgies are going ape shit, all right, and I'm trying to tell you to shut it down, stop it. I said, well, they like now. He says, oh, well, yeah, they're on the perch again now, and the bloody, we just have to put some more water and feed. Oh shit, okay. Because they were right in front of the air intake, and I didn't think about how much air it'd suck in.
Yeah, you're sucking budgie go.
Yeah. So I says, oh, okay. Then Brenton's saying, no, have a look at this. So we walked over to the telegraph pole, and the first 2 foot of the telegraph pole was wood, and the next 3 foot was black. Absolutely black, you could, like charcoal. Holy shit! Right, okay, yeah. Well, that'll have to wear itself in eventually or something like that. And then I'm looking at the telegraph pole like that, and I says, "Hey Brent, that's not the worst bit. Looking at next door's lawn, it's starting to get a yellow strip right through the centre of it.
So it's burnt the lawn.
Holy dooly. Okay, grab all the hoses. So I got 2 hoses, the front one, the back. Grab John's hose. John, who wasn't home, is his lawn. He's got a hose out the front, and we'll have to saturate this bloody lawn. So we're pouring gallons of water on it. The water's nearly running into the gutter and everything else like that. So, thank God we've seen all that. Yeah, this bloody, it's a drama. I don't think we could put this in a car. This is, of course, more dramas than Speed Gordon.
You need a massive fuel tank.
Yeah, and the size of the fuel tank. And then after we're having a beer and everything else like that. And then one of the other guys says, hey Norm, we put all that water on there. That lawn is yellower than what the budgies are. I think it's stuffed. Well,
you burn his lawn.
Yeah, John next door never ever talked to me again. It was he got his revenge, but I wanted to put an extension on the garage, and I had to get his permission because of the cul-de-sac. He could see the garage from his front, and because of the way, so I had to get his permission to do it. Well, he didn't give his permission.
Because you burnt his lawn.
So a couple of years later, he had gone anyway.
That's funny.
So that was another nightmare. Yeah. So that one never happened.
No.
I think we figured that out before. Imagine putting that in the car. I mean, you would have melted anything from 300 foot behind you. Turning a corner, you would have melted the houses and killed the lawns.
Well, it was a good idea at the time.
In theory, it sounded perfect. Just forget all the other dramas with the jet engine, but the jet engine would be a cool deal.
Most of the other crazy things have worked.
That's right.
So you've got a pretty high, completion rate.
Yeah. The other one seemed to work, but thank God we actually done that before we built the thing.
So with the Model A Roadster Pickup, that was actually registered for a while, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was registered for a couple of years and everything else like that. At the time, everything else, my dad and I had a property down at a place called Wondandia. This is down the south coast, New South Wales. And so we had different things. And I built this thing up and everything else like that. And to get it full registration would be pretty hard. But since we had a primary producer organised a farm, and I said, well, it's a Ford. It could be a Ford tractor if you look at it different ways. Who's to say what a tractor actually looks like? So, but we won't call it a tractor. We'll call it something that we use on the farm. And the limitations of any primary producer, you can register it to drive it down the road. That's only in daylight hours.
Okay.
Right. So let's call it a stump puller. Right. No one even knows what a stump puller is.
No.
I don't even know if there is such a thing as a stump puller. But if I don't know what it is, they wouldn't know what it is either. So we registered it and got it all through the primary producer part of it as a stump puller.
Wow.
And we had the proper address, the proper Wandandian, Palomino Pines, the place was called, Palomino Pines, Wandandian, all the registered primary production stuff.
And would it pull the stump out?
I never tried. I bloody doubt it.
Yeah.
I can pull the front wheels up easy enough.
Oh, it'd probably do that.
Yeah. Well, it would.
Impressive.
I pulled up one of the first time we took it and anywhere. My son was with me too because he was only a little tacker by that stage. We went. It was called the Mud Nationals.
Oh, at Penrith. Yeah.
Penrith there, right? And we took it for a ride. Oh, there's two things. Took it for a drive down here and took it for back up here again. And we come back and the stoplights were right where McDonald's are on the line. And to get into where the camp was, you had to go down a bit further than drive in. And that's what was called the Mud Nationals. Pissed down rain for 3 days, and
terrible.
everything was mud, right? So I'm sitting there with another couple of hot rods, a couple of light rods. And because we were in a rush to get it going, I got a set of wheelie bars that actually go onto the chassis section of it. Different. There's no give in them. So we didn't have the wheelie bars on. So we come in on the truck, unloaded it, took it for a run up the road and back again and out this way. So we're sitting at the stoplights. That thing went green, and I forgot about the wheelie bars. Forgot about it. So we pulled the front up and carried it right through the intersection.
Wow.
A couple of other hot riders were there, and they told me. I said, "We look really cool going through there on the back." And I go. And Corey's going, "Oh," I said, "I forgot the wheelie bars." So then it was back around to where the truck was and put the wheelie bars on.
Yeah.
When we got back there, driving in there and everything else like that, and my wife's running towards me. It's okay. What's wrong? I'm looking at it. There's a cop car sitting right there, right in front of the truck where we were going to park, right? So he said, "It's okay." It's like, he just wants a ride. "Oh, yeah, no worries. Yeah, for sure. Right, so we jumped. I got him into it and everything else. Right, and he took his hat off and left that with Rhonda. At that stage, we didn't have a roof on it. It was just a windscreen about 1.5 inches across the front there, so it was all over. So we said, yeah, jump in and we'll take you for a ride. Started it up again, back up, down the highway, down the road, heading towards Penrith and all that sort of stuff. And he's a bigger cowboy than me. And he was sitting there like that and everything else. And he said, "Oh, isn't this cool? I could just shoot straight over the windscreen of this thing." I'm going, "Oh, he's cool." Then what happens? The thing goes, it stopped. We were coming in to refuel with all the excitement. We didn't refuel.
Oh, you didn't refuel, so they ran out of fuel.
So my wife said, "They're not back. They've run out of fuel." So we had a little ute that we used to throw the jerry cans in and take them and refill it again. So, and the other cop was still there in the car. He says, "Don't worry about it. Put him in the boot of the cop car. Put him in the car, in the boot of the Commodore." So we're driving down the road. We've got the cop car behind us with jerry cans of methanol hanging out of it everywhere.
How funny.
And we're doing it. We've got the funnel and we're filling up the back fuel tank and everything else out of these jerry cans. That had never happened today.
No
That would
way.
never come off today.
You get away with a lot more stuff back then than now.
Oh, you could. Especially if the guy gave me his card. He was one of the bigger senior sort of guys at the time. Gave me his card and he says, "Listen, if anybody pulls you over this weekend or anything else like that, just show them the card and tell them to ring me."
Yeah, wow.
Right,
Was that?
so-
You got the golden ticket.
Yeah, I can drive up and down the highway running on methanol straight out of exhaust all day.
Yeah, wow.
That was cool.
And
I
then
forgot about that.
After that, you ended up getting onto the Jocko Streamliner. So how did that come about? Like, were you after something like that, or
Yeah,
you just...
no, it wasn't after it completely. We started drag racing a little bit, so that was with the Willys. That was my first car. We really started to play around. I rode the bucket at the Dragsters at Castlereagh actually.
Oh, you did run the bucket.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Got a picture at home of that when we ran it up there. I mean, I think we only ever done it once or twice. We only ever run it at the hot rod drags.
Yeah,
not full competition.
Yeah.
So yeah, where were we again? We were talking about
The Jocko, like...
the Jocko line.
Was that
that's it.
advertised somewhere, or you were...
Yeah. What it was, because one of the mates, Steve, seen it advertised in the Yankee local magazine at Michigan, Ohio. It was.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew what a Jocko liner was. Just about all hot rods, just like frontage and dragsters. It was the thing of the day and all that sort of stuff. So I knew what it was, and I was interested. There's no two words about it. I said, well, I was dabbling with this drag racing. I sort of got into this. Oh, this is a lot of fun, right? So anyways, we got I bought it. Now, in buying it, and I told the guy we bought it, and he says, well, the only thing I'm worried about, you're from Australia, all right? Now, I'm worried about the fact that this was the last one he built, and there's a couple of other ones in the States in museums, but they're not complete anyway. This was not complete either. No motor, driveline, no diff in it or anything. It's been modified. Because as you know, with drag racing, different to hot rodding, you sort of build something, you run it, and then you come on to, I'm going to build something else. So you rip whatever is usable out of that one to put in the next one.
The next one.
Yeah. I don't even know that. All the cars are complete, right down to the magnetos, spark plugs are all complete still, right? So anyways, I got this thing. He says, the only thing I'm worried about if they let it leave the country, because if someone gets a word of it and everything else like that, and I've sold it to someone overseas, they might say, that's a part of the drag racing heritage thing, and you shouldn't
they want to keep it in America.
Yeah, been in America still. So I said, oh well, I still like to buy it. How can we get around that? And he says, what I'll do. He was a nice guy. He says, what I'll do. I'm in Michigan. You've got to go to California. So what I could do is give it a chassis number, pull out some paperwork for it, fill it all out, wrap it up so you can't see what it is. Basically, so just to steer it and the wheels hanging out a bit. And I'll take it down to the rail yard. We'll put it in a container at the rail yard. Get all the paperwork signed, and then once it's in the container, it'll go down to LA, onto the boat and to you. But no one will even know what it is. It's just a number.
Yeah.
All right.
Have it hidden.
Have
it sort of hidden so they don't know what it is.
He wrapped it. He sent me a picture of it then, when it was on his trailer, fully covered over in this stuff, so you couldn't see what it was. So we got it out of that way. They might not have happened, but it was a good chance I'll buy it, but you can't take it out of America.
Yeah, and that Jocko, he actually worked for George Barris back in the day.
Yeah, he worked for a few people. He worked for Barris for a while, and then he actually worked on a drag teams. He actually drove a couple of cars too.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a pretty crazy design.
Yeah, he was.
Back then.
He was a crazy guy too. I spoke to him once.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, I spoke to him once on the phone when he found out that I had the last one he'd done.
Because they built 5, didn't they?
It's about 5. There's about Don Garlis has got 2.
Oh, yeah.
There's another guy somewhere in the middle of the country's got 1. But these things are sort of bodies and a bit of a chassis, and there's no running gear, there's no warren, no motors, no fuel tanks, no nothing in them, right?
Yeah.
So this one, took another 2 or 3 years when we got it back here. That's the trouble about buying sight unseen. You think you're in your own head. It thinks that this and this and this. When you see it,
it's a lot worse.
Yeah. So we needed a lot of work.
So you basically did a full resto frame.
Everything.
Engine, you did everything. I think.
We had to put it different. We shortened I had to do all that.
It was a crazy design with the real narrow wheelbase at the back. And then the wide at the front.
Yeah. It had a fault, and still has a fault. 80% of the ones he'd done crashed.
Yeah.
And you like this too, and they crashed, and my one did too. Right?
Yeah.
Another story. I'll come back to that one again, but mine I did eventually. When I was speaking to Jocko, and I said, I heard they crashed and they done this. Well, yeah, they're good looking things, but I'm not an aeronautical engineer or anything. In other words, I built this thing that looks like it, but I ain't got a goddamn clue.
Yeah, you built it for looks.
Don't blame me.
Not for
I'm not an aeronautical engineer.
Not to work.
Yeah.
They're crazy looking car.
Eh?
Crazy looking car.
Yeah, crazy car. Great, beautiful car to drive, except that you cannot see nothing behind you. And we blew it up a couple of times when we were running it. And one, I know that Kevin Pendergast was Eastern Creek before, and he says, when you felt it go bang, why didn't you pull over to one side? And you just sat there and bizzazz. And I said, well, while I'm in the car, I didn't know if anything was coming up behind me. I couldn't hear anything, couldn't see anything. It hasn't got no rear vision mirrors. And if I started to pull over like that and the crash car was coming,
you'd wipe it out.
I decided I'm going to stay right where I am.
Yeah. So how many years did that take to restore that car the first time?
It was about 2 to 3 years too. 3 years.
Yeah. And then you did a few shows with, didn't you?
Yeah. Done a few. Then we've done a couple of shows in it, and then we ran it. What do you call it now? We took it out to...
Was it Cowra?
An airstrip at Cowra. That's it.
Yeah, that's right.
There was an air show on, and we were asked to go out there and race an aeroplane. Well, going down there doing 100 and whatever the case may be. We were winning at the time. He comes up over the top of us like that, reasonably low. Whether that was something to do with Jocko's inability to do a design or the disturbed air from the plane above us, I don't know. But either way, it went airborne.
Yeah, so how many times did it roll?
Well, it covered
flipped, didn't it?
200 feet in the end from where it left the ground to where it finally touched.
Oh, really? 200 feet?
I've got a picture of it. It's completely upside down above the track with about 50, well, it's about 200 millimetre off the track, completely upside down. Don't forget it's a wing. So as soon as it gets up, it wants to fly.
It wants to fly.
All right? Especially inverted.
It's like a bird.
Yeah. So, so then, after I crashed it, brought it back, don't worry about it, like this, that, and
So you
that
never
thing.
really got hurt much?
Hey?
Did you get hurt at all?
Not that much. No, it wasn't that bad. In fact, I had to go to hospital, right? Nothing majorly wrong, but they brought the two different things. I had to go to hospital, put me in the car, took me to hospital, rang the doctor up, says there's a guy just had a crash on the airfield, doing 100 and something mile an hour and everything else, bounced a few times, everything else like that. We got in touch with the doctor. He's mowing the lawn at present. He'll be in there really shortly because they've done that from the airstrip. So the doctor walks in and goes, I said, "Where's the guy?" "Oh, you're the guy." "Oh, shit." He says, "I wasn't in. I thought you'd be all but dead. I'll tell you the truth." But so he says, I was only there for a couple of hours and they let me out.
I mean, you say about the design of it and it flipped in that. I mean, Mark Webber flipped that Mercedes with all the high tech.
That's it. Only about 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah,
they had two of them in the same race, and they flipped both of them.
Yeah, so I mean they've got all the technology to stop.
And that's Mercedes. They should have had the best bloody air techs around.
Yeah, and Jocko didn't design that.
And the reason it did, I'll tell you the reason too. You most probably never have one, but I'll tell you the reason. And the front comes to a point like that, comes up at the bottom, up like that, and the two bubble guards, and it's got a belly pan on it, 3 inches off the ground. Now, at about 150, 160 mile an hour, where the front comes up, the air's coming in, it pushes all that air underneath the belly pan.
Try to lift it.
It pressurizes the car. So at a point, the car's like this going like, next minute the thing wants to float. It'll come up at the front, put more load on the back wheels, you're still going fine, and the wheels are so close it only steers in a straight line. But as it comes up, then it's gone. Once it gets to a certain point, then it's gone.
Yeah.
So to fix it, you'd have to do something like they do with the funny car. You'd go from one it's got two pontoons with a wheel set. You'd go from one pontoon to the other. You'd go down low, cut straight across there, cut the air at 3 inches, and don't let this
extra
up
air
section
coming in. Yeah.
let the air in. And when we crashed the thing, you love this too. When we crashed, the safety crew was the local bushfire brigade, right? And we talked about, like what we're doing. He asked us a few questions and before we had the race in case anything went wrong. Well, anyways, we crashed it. It was bang, upside down, into there, the body, and the fire engine came, pulled up, and they had all the young guys and everything else, and they went right around the car. And the crew guys going, "Don't go anywhere near it. It could blow up. It's got methanol. It could go bang. You keep all back. Get your fire extinguishers ready, but it could blow up." Right? And I'm still sitting in the car going like this. My crew come in and get those bloody idiots, pulling him back out of the car and all that. They were going to stand there until it blew up.
Yeah,
or caught on fire.
That's funny.
Well, I'll come in and put the fire out if it catches on fire.
They've watched all the American shows where the car blows up.
Yeah.
And then you had to do a resto of that after you crashed it.
Yeah. I'd left it for a couple of years, and I said, I can't call myself a car enthusiast, right? I says, it wasn't my fault the thing crashed, but that doesn't mean, it's not my fault. I owe it to the car to fix it, right? So we went for another 2-year rebuild, and in the end now it was better than it was before.
Yeah, so it's full museum piece now.
Yeah, yeah. Now Greg Sadler and Ziggy, he put a lot into repairing the motor.
It looks a great looking thing now, isn't it?
Hey?
Good looking thing.
Oh, beautiful paint job. We went overboard this time with it. Yeah. There's no stickers on it. We've got the special painters in and everything else. All the stickers have all been hand done, airbrushed. The paint looks like it's 2 foot thick. It really is. So
after the whole plane episode, then you actually wanted a plane.
Yeah, so, it was at the same weekend, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
We were out at Cowra, and they had X amount of warbirds there doing displays. And this is before the crash, obviously. we're looking at these things and, oh, this is cool, oh, this is cool. So I've always been into World War II stuff and all that. This is cool. And I'm looking at that and looking at this and asking the guy and talking to him about it. He says, that's not that. I could afford to do that. It looks like it's like Millionaire's Row. It's not Millionaire's Row at all, and on different levels. Depends on what level you want to go in at.
Yeah.
Right? So when I ended up I looked at that, and then 6 or 7 months after that, I started looking around for a plane.
Wow.
Yeah. So
where'd you find the plane at, and what sort of plane
I found the plane. It was there was a few of them brought out from the States. Everything else that was in Perth.
Right.
Wasn't flyable then. They spent 2 years over there getting it so it was flyable. Rebuilding this, rebuilding that. They stripped just about every nut bolt out of it, repainted, X-rayed all the chassis, all the welds they had because it was not built in 1943. Painted that, done that, rewired it, painted all this, put the panels back on. When they brought it over from the States, they left the engine in America to be rebuilt, and it followed 10 or 11 months later.
So it was a trainer plane, but it had a bit of action as well.
Yeah. Now it's got 6 bullet holes, and it was much like the Willys. It was used for a few different things. It was started off as a trainer, that way, then ended up being shot up 6 times. It's got the bullet holes where they went in and out, and even on the chassis on the inside, it's got where one of the bullets hit it and creased the chrome molly.
Yeah, okay.
And flew out the top then.
Huh, crazy.
Because the World War II stuff, everything else, they're just like hot rods with wings.
Yeah.
Right? Aluminium, chrome molly, big engines. The motor itself is a 9-cylinder radial, 1,340 cubic inches. It's got fuel lines in it, like a top fuel car. Runs avgas, obviously. And that's about the hardest thing I've ever had to do, is to learn to fly the bloody thing.
Yeah, they're pretty finicky about.
Oh, they are.
Either living or dying while trying to fly them, aren't they?
Yeah. They were built as a trainer to a degree, and they were made so you learnt in these aeroplanes, and after you finished in that aeroplane, you're qualified to go fly a Mustang, a Spitfire, and all that. So they made them pretty hard to fly. Otherwise, every time you jumped into a Spitfire, they'd crash the bloody thing because you're by yourself then, right?
Yeah, either make or break when you're doing learning how to fly, I suppose.
Yeah. So I had to get a license to start with to fly up any plane. So I'd done all that, and that was then. Never forget Trevor. Trevor was a flight check captain for Qantas. He's retired now, and he'd flown just about everything. World War II. He'd been to Reno, run Reno races and all that sort of stuff. Flew in them, and he was going to teach me how to fly this thing. I had to qualify up to that point, and then I could go learn in this one. And when I bought the bloody thing, I'll come back to that one in a minute. When I bought the bloody thing, I said, this North American T6. I asked a few people that know a bit about them and fly them and all that. So I met two guys who had one. I said, yeah. I'm thinking about buying this North American T6. Good looking. Yeah. How long you had your license? I haven't got a license yet. I'm still getting the. You haven't got a license? He says, oh mate, you need to get a plane license, and you need to get so many 100 hours. Then you need to get checked out on a Cessna 180, which is similar, then checked out on this one, then get a tail dragger endorsement. I said, oh shit. And I'm thinking about this, and I asked both of them, I said something, and he says, in the way Norm thinks, he says, well, if I had a Morris Minor, and I was driving it around, then I got a Ferrari, and I hopped in it, same license, hopped in it, and I drove that around. It'd take me about a day and a half to get used to driving a Ferrari. It's just a matter of another car. He says, if I've got a license, these guys just don't want me to have a T6 for some bloody reason. I don't know why they don't want me to have a T6. It can't be that hard. All right? So I got the bloody thing, started going through the license, and then Trevor started to teach me how to fly. Then I realised they were right. It's a really hard thing to fly.
It is to fly.
When you're up in the air, it's an absolutely beautiful thing. On the ground, it's a dinosaur. Yeah.
So when you purchased the plane, then you had to fly it back, obviously from WA, which would have been a mission in itself.
Yeah. We went over there. I went over there and seen it, and had to fly in it. With it, I wasn't flying. Still didn't have a license. Cool. Then when I came back, I got one of the guys who did have a plane, a T6, exactly the same, Nolly. And we went over and we flew it back. That was about one of the most enjoyable times, and exciting for a person that liked flying, didn't it? But first big flight you've ever had was in a World War II.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fighter, and we went via about 5 or 6 different places: Kalgoorlie, Ceduna. We flew right along the Great Australian Bight, around about 400 foot above the cliff and about 400 foot off the cliff. So the waves are all crashing underneath us. Now we flew that way for about an hour.
Would have been a crazy sight seeing this World War II plane
awesome. Yeah,
following the coastline.
Yeah,
and hearing the sound of it as well.
Yeah. So, and he was in the front, I was in the back. But then again, you can do everything from the back. So I flew it about halfway under his instructions, obviously.
Yeah.
By that stage, it was pretty. Once it's up in the air, it's a nice plane. Beautiful. It does everything.
Landing
you
and
want.
taking off is the.
But taking off is not as hard, but you got to be careful about it. But landing, when Trevor was teaching me to do it all, I'd coming in to land. All right, and before you get there, you're coming down the strip, turn left, and you're coming down to land, and Trevor's behind you, you're in the front. So you got like this, the throttle, the accelerator, the steering and all that, and you're watching it, and you're coming down, you've got to be, check landing gear down, this down, flaps down to certain degrees, you got to tell him what you're doing over at the time, and Trevor says, yeah, and he says, watch this thing, Norm, this will kill you. It's killed more people in the Second World War than they virtually got shot out the air. Wow. It will kill you, and they did. I've read the book, and it says it will kill you. So here's me, just got my license, green as hell, flying this thing, holding this thing, and he says, balance. You got to balance it. Get it all balanced before you land. And we're still coming in at 100 mile an hour, right? And when I balanced it, so he knew I'd balanced it and wasn't bullshitting him. It's going really good. You're balancing it. In other words, I threw my hands up in there. I haven't touched the control. Then back down to the controls again. So we had to make sure that I was in control of the plane. It wasn't doing what they wanted to do.
Yeah, wow.
So, and so it's winter time, 3 degrees outside, and I'm sweating that much. The sweat's running off me because you're really on this concentration.
Yeah, 100% concentration.
110%.
Yeah,
you know?
That's crazy.
But
so you've flown it a bit since you've got it, obviously.
Yeah.
Got a handle on it
now. They're nice things, I suppose. It's just, like I said before, they're just like hot rods and drag cars.
Yeah.
Chrome moly, aluminium, horsepower, noise. Yeah.
Mm.
Norm, you're the man of the moment now. That's the way.
Yeah, and then you got into, well, you and your son Corey ended up getting a funny car, Corvette funny car.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
How'd that come about? Well, going back years and years ago, one of the trips I went to the States, I brought it back for a guy, a Sydney guy, a drag racer.
Okay.
And Corey sat in. Corey's only going to high school, so that was the first funny car he ever sat in. You know, so keeping in mind everything else, like this other guy had it for X amount of years. He raced it. I think he went to, I think they said it was up in Queensland. He went to Queensland with it, like a state, lived there, and then it was up for. Then he sold it to a guy down in Sydney again, right? And he didn't do anything with it. He didn't have it for a great length of time. Then I heard it was for sale, so we ended up looking at it and we bought it off him, and you know, because that. Corey wanted to get into it a little bit and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, it was the first one he sat in, so it meant something to him too.
Yeah,
and me.
yeah.
It was we virtually brought it over, and it was the first one.
And typical Longfield style, the car was immaculate. Perfect paint job, chrome,
Another Greg Sadler Ziggy paint job.
Yeah, it wasn't just a rough old race car. It was like show car,
it
race
really
car.
looked more of a show car now, even now, than a race car. Years and years ago, the race cars looked like race cars. Now they really, everyone's got their act together and they look pretty cool. But yeah, he ran it for X amount of time. He was going really well at it. But like everyone else, he grew up, he got married. When you're doing things like that, you just can't afford to run an alcohol funny car. They're not cheap things to run, I can tell you. Yeah.
And then you got into a front engine dragster after that, didn't you, Shazam?
Yeah, we bought a front engine one, just a roller only, called Shazam. nice full-bodied car, really nice, really the old-fashioned pointed with the snake head front, that sort of thing. It was only short, and it was all set up for, it was either a big block Chevy basically. It had engine mounts that fit a couple of things. So we got it here, and we didn't spend that much time with that one, and because like building it, so all we had to do was put engine plates in it, we put a 426 in it, run a methanol, blown injected, and that was, I suppose that was the first, no, well, the Streamliner was the first all-out drag car that I used to have, but this was the first one that was getting a bit more serious.
And this was a bit of a handful, this one, being the short wheelbase.
Yeah, wheel short base, and then we got methanol. Then we said, we started playing with this nitro. We sort of had a bit of a fascination with this nitro stuff. We'll try it. So we started playing around with the nitro, and it got us into it, hooked like it bloody does everybody.
Yeah.
Got hooked, and it went faster. It went better, and as we got the tune up better, the car got worse to handle because it was just too short.
Too short for the power.
Yeah, and at that time, I mean, Richard Bodiker was giving us a hand to tune it and all that sort of stuff. In fact, he was tuning it, and he says, "Norm, I think it's you've gone as far as you can with this. You'll never keep the thing in a straight line.
It's at its limit.
It's at its limit. You need a nitro built car to build nitro."
So around that time, did you get involved in starting the nostalgia races?
Yeah, that's right. Steve Turner and myself, and I forget names now. We started getting. We only got it originally just so we could run one bracket, just like a funny car come dragster bracket. That was going to be it. But when we started it, the pressure come from everybody. All the other people had nostalgia stuff that wanted to. Make it bigger. So we ended up making it bigger and doing all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you ended up getting rid of the Shazam and you went to a longer wheelbase dragster after that, World War II.
Yeah, that's right. Well, as it worked out, and it was time to get a bigger one, all right, a purpose-built one. So when I was looking around and everything else like that, I found one that came up for sale in the States. I'd seen it once before when I was over there running, right? And it was meant to be, because I'm into planes, into this, into that, and everything else. This front engine dragster come up, nitro, and it was called WW2. Well, I said, well, this was meant to be.
Yeah,
this is
match
the one.
The plane.
Matches the plane. Matches the plane. And even had a plane painted on a little bit, and So we got that, and then took the motor out of the Shazam, sold that without that. And although with a nitro motor, you always change a bit somewhere. But anyways, the basic motor, put it into that, and end up without a couple of motors for it in the end. Because don't forget, everything else with nitro, there's only one sort of motor. The one that just blew up, or the one that's about to blow up. They're the only two kinds.
That's the only fine line, isn't it?
That's the only one it is. Don't get sentimentally attached to it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So.
And so we ended up running a 6, didn't it? Like low 6s.
607 or 607. So I was touching on the edge of the 5.
Yeah.
It was a good thing. Then we ended up putting a coupe body on the back of it.
Yeah.
Because I reckon they look cool. I really don't look.
I saw that.
They don't do anything for the performance of it.
Or the visibility.
The visibility, you can't see less. I had to cut a hole in the roof to get in and out and this and that. Although we hinged the body to do that part of it, but your visibility wasn't real crash hot. And you're pushing more, the weight wasn't that big, but the wind resistance.
The wind resistance, yeah.
We took all the windows, it had no windows in it, and I cut big holes this big in the back of it, so everything that come in had a way to go out.
Yeah, okay.
But we run that for 10 years, on and off, not all the time, only doing our own thing. So when you run the next, I don't know when it's all back together. I wouldn't have a clue.
And that's a real show race car as well, the paint and everything on that. Chrome and
no, it's a real sweet looking thing. Yeah, real sweet. Yeah.
And then you ended up getting another plane, the teacher's pet.
Yeah, three of us used to go flying around the place. Jeff, who went over to Perth with me and helped me fly it back, or flew it back, and I helped him. And then Cole, and Cole died, and we flew around a couple of times. Flew around a bit. One of the best things we ever done was all three of us one afternoon, Sunday afternoon, we're at Camden Airfield, and we said, well, let's do something stupid. Let's jump in the planes, fly up to Foster, land on the island because there's a grass strip on there. Then we'll go get a hamburger. We'll come back and we'll fly back this afternoon again.
How cool is that?
So we all got to do, and we're all in formation and all flying back up there and landing. Cole knew a guy with a boat, so he came across and picked us up and took us over to the mainland. So yeah, that was cool.
The Foster wouldn't know what hit it with these World War II planes rocking in.
No. Especially when you come, these things are noisy.
Yeah.
I mean, noisy. So that was really cool. That sort of a thing. So anyways, Cole died. So I ended up, buying the plane, got it off the family at a reasonable price for what it was worth and all that. And they sold it to me only because they knew that I'd look after it.
Yeah.
And it does look immaculate. It's done hardly any flying, but we've done everything work from bumper to bumper on it. It looks cool.
And then you started getting into the beach racing with rattle trap. Is that where you bought the Model A? Yeah,
that's a different thing again. Because my son's an electrician too. We were working together at the time, and while we were working away there, I always loved boat tails. Boat tails of all different things. It's just a part of the thing. I always loved that sort of thing. And he said, "Dad, I found a boat tails for sale. Look, I haven't got time. I'm running a drag car. I'm bloody running a nitro car. I haven't got time to play around with any goddamn bloody boat tails and hot rods and everything else right now." So that was about morning tea time. 4 o'clock in the afternoon come. Where's it at? Where's it at? I'll have a look. So I had a look at it. Yeah. Look, really needed a lot of work done to it. It was a race car built in 1930 something. Raced here, there, and everywhere. Got some other paperwork that came with it to say it ran at Catalina Raceway up the mountains.
Oh wow, okay.
Down south. Even ran in Victoria somewhere. I haven't got it written down on paper. They even think it ran when it first was done on the timber track at Maroubra.
Oh, the Maroubra board track.
Board track.
It's funny you say, because my grandmother, who was born in 1900, died in like 93, when she was young, she actually went to the board track at Maroubra and used to tell me all about it. Yeah. So
it was there.
Much history. There's probably not a lot of documentation on that anymore, but
no, there's not. There's
it's
not.
Hard
they said they think
back.
Everyone got it off of, and all it done and everything else like that was his father had it, and after when they had it like X amount, because they bought it off another guy who bought it off another guy, and then the other guy was gone. So I'm getting that. So it was all they ever done, because I bought it was on a property. All they ever done was what do you call it? Paddock bashed it. Done circuits. They put a bit of a track on the ground, and they used to ride around because it was an open wheel sort of a deal. So yeah, it needed a lot of work. That had a drilled Model A front axle that broke and bent like that. So they straightened it back up and put a plate across it and welded it on. Okay. There was no heim joints or the radius rods or anything else like that. There was no heim joints on them. They were just bolted to the chassis, bolted to no hems or anything. So it needed a fair bit of work done to it. But I said it'd be ideal for the rattle trap.
Yeah, the beach.
The first one was coming up in about 2 months' time. So Dion was the one I bought it off. That was his son's name. In fact, when you stop and think about it, the amount of things that I bought that have been deceased, the states, it must be something, like he died, I bought that. He died, I bought that. He died, I bought that. So anyway, so we got this thing back home, got it so it went a little bit better, fixed up a few things on it. We took it up the rattle trap and ran it the first time. We had a ball.
Had a ball, it's fun.
As compared with nitro racing. Nitro racing is not fun.
No, it's a lot of hard work.
A lot of work, a lot of money, a lot of sweat. And you go 6 seconds and you could go back there and work your ass off for another hour. Then after you run about a couple of 6 seconds, you take it home and work your ass off for about another month or 2 months working on it.
Yeah.
Where this thing was just sort of like there was nothing to do. We turned up with a toolbox, this, that, and the other thing. Mate, we didn't even get a screwdriver out. Nothing went wrong. It was just going around in circles.
So you restored it for that, or you just sort of
No. It was still as it was. Ugly looking car, green. I think I might have even gave you a photo.
Yeah, I've got a photo
in a frame. As it was when we got it, basically. So So yeah, we got that thing, and then I decided I fell in love with the bloody thing a little bit. I fall in love with too many cars, that's the trouble. Fell in love with the bloody thing. I says, we need to, this has got a lot of potential. It's got a wooden body on it. All the boats are not just a metal one. It's all built like a boat. It's got different things and braces in it. And so I ended up pulled the thing right down as far as we could. We're going to take the body off it and realise the fact that if we ever took the body off it, it'd never go back on again. They're just all built. Some of them are nails and screws.
I mean, they did what they had at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
They had basic
and the reason
tools.
I said I wanted to do that is the guy who built it in 1930 and ran it, he went to World War II, but he never came home.
Never come home.
Never came home. And I said, well, I went to Vietnam. That gave me a little bit of a sort of I know what he's like. I finished a car and showed it about a week before I went to Vietnam.
Yeah.
So I said I owe it to him to restore it and put it back together to get it as good as he had it, if not better. And I was into a point then, and I said, and I've done it since then too. What I'm doing, I'm not going to do drag racing anymore now. I've got too old, 70. Like the last run I had, I was 73 or 74, and the thing done 374 kilometres an hour in 6 seconds. Like really low 6 seconds. And I could feel it was starting to get to me. Before you be sitting there like, go. Next one, you go, shit, it feels fast. It must be time to get out, I think, before I bloody, And that second last run, we blew an engine. In fact, I think you've got a bit of a video of that somewhere or something.
A lot of video.
And blowing an engine in a front engine dragster is a, well, you're in the hands of the gods, I can tell you.
Scary. Deal.
It's scary. I was thrown around everywhere. It's covered with oil. Couldn't see. I was doing 200 mile an hour and I got dumped with oil and I couldn't see anything. So and then I'm pulling. Eventually going and I'm pulling the visor up just a little bit to see underneath when the oil stopped hitting me face. I was pulling the oil up and said, oh shit, we're still in there. Like I was waiting when the oil hit my face. I said, I'm going to hit this wall any second. Once I hit the wall, because it went round like that, once it hit the wall, it's going to barrel roll at 200.
Yeah.
That's not nice. So you can see why because as soon as we blew the engine, I know we contained the motor, the oil the best we can, right? But you must get a little bit back on them slicks. When the slicks get them, there's no direction.
Yeah, it goes wherever it wants to go.
It goes where it wants to go. Forget the steering. Don't matter what you're doing with the steering. The car's. It's like flying an aeroplane. When you're coming in to land on an aeroplane, especially a T6, right? There's centre of gravity. Now, with a trike, you've got two wheels here and a wheel at the front. They're easy. With one at the back, like a tail dragger, you've got two wheels here. The centre of gravity is behind those two wheels. If you come down and touch down a little bit out of square, like that, it's only going to be about 5 degrees out. When you touch down, it's not going to go that way. It's going to go this way. The centre of gravity is this way. You've got 2.5 tonne of aeroplane wanting to go there, but you've got the nose facing there. That ain't going to work, right? And the same as the dragster thing or something. If you get oil on them things, those front little wheels ain't going to do anything.
No, not going to save you.
No, it's a momentum. Momentum's going that way.
Well, the beast racing was a bit simpler and a bit slower.
Oh, yeah, mate. The first one and everything else like that, I was going round and around and around and around, and I'm going to park it here now. I said, well, what's wrong with the car? He says, I'm exhausted. I need a beer. That was real laid-back racing as compared with drag racing. I'm sick of going around and around and around.
After you did the Model A, which you raced at the beach, you then got into having a D series Jag, didn't you? D model Jag.
Yeah, this is the continuation. I'm still on the same bloody haunt, I suppose. Race cars on the street. That's all I want to do now. Just race car, pure race cars. And I wanted to do something that I'm still playing with other things, but by the same token, I didn't want to. In fact, I was still rebuilding the timber racer when I bought the D-type. When I was interested in all that sort of stuff, sports, I wanted a sports car, this, that, and the other thing, but I didn't want to build one. I'm sick of building things. I've got enough projects now, and I'm halfway through. So I finally got into this other English guy, and he was bringing one out from England. All right. It wasn't the original 15 that they built, because there was only 3 of them left, and they're into the millions of dollars. This one was built in 1960 something. It's raced in England, it raced in Europe, and a few other places like that, from what I can see. Still got all the stickers on the windscreen where the pit passes. But yeah, I wanted something else that was different, right? And I'm not into not into Ferraris, Lamborghinis. It's just, I'm sort of used to this American stuff, or this one's English, but at least it was wasn't that Ferrari come Lamborghini. In fact, if I had bought a Lamborghini, everyone says you're into drugs. I'm not into drugs. So that seems to be the right. You got a Lamborghini? Oh yeah, you got it from drug money. Yeah, even if you didn't, it could be an accountant. Wouldn't matter.
So you ended up restoring the
Yeah, and I didn't restore it. I done a lot of work to it, but I didn't. Okay. It wasn't actually. It still got the same paint on it and numbers on it, and it's a great thing to drive. As you sit in, and the reason it was a lot of fun too was it was designed by a World War II engineer, right? Aerodynamic wise, it's got panels and rivets and everything else on it,
right?
Because it's basically built like an aeroplane.
Yeah, they're a beautiful design, aren't they?
Yeah, they were. Yeah. So a few little things just got modified. It's got a belly pan in it too. They got a pickup in the belly pan now to pick the air up and take it out past the back brakes and everything. Because in the straightaways they were standing on them. The brakes were getting too hot, so they pumped air through it over and above the normal one that they had. Yeah, but it's a great thing, a nice thing. Sitting really low, you just about lay in it.
You like laying in a bathtub?
Yeah. Even lower, I think.
Lower, yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Then you've got another altered intruder. That was an old car. That was an old drag car.
An old Castle Ray car. You got a picture of it when it was in
Castle Ray.
I've got a black and white
image of that.
When I got out of the drag racing part of it, stopped running the fuel car. The boys were still hanging. Yeah, the boys are still coming around on that. I said, well, Johnny Williamson, who I got the body off, he was on our crew. Johnny Williamson and I go back till I was 16. Yeah.
Right.
And he ran that car at Castle Ray. He when he died and everything else, he still had the body and a rusted old chassis and a frame, and all that was no good. So I got the body off him and everything else before he died. Or he said, when I die, another deceased body.
Yeah, you seem to be good at that.
Yeah, I'm getting good at it. Don't die, for God's sake.
No, you're buying my cars.
That's right. So anyway, we got the body, and the whole team said, we'll build one and we'll all race it, the whole team. Well, we did build it. It is finished, but we still haven't run the car. It's still sitting there, absolutely turnkey. Beautiful car now. We put dedicated to him and put all the proper stuff on it. We painted it up the same colouring. We did increase the wheelbase a bit, because it was just too short before to go on the tracks. It was all right on a non-VHT track, but you go on a VHT track with good traction, this short cars, they're all over the place.
Yeah, all over the track. Yeah.
But that's what we done. That's what we done with the Willys. Even when you look at the Willys, you'll see the fact that the front guards are filled in, and it's got a little bit of a hook where the wheels are. We increased it from 105 inches to 110 inches.
Oh, so you've moved the wheelbase on
We've moved the wheelbase. Couldn't move the back, but we moved the front, and so it didn't look like there's the guard and the wheels up here somewhere. It looks stupid. We filled it in and brought it up, and then put a scallop in here to brand it in a bit.
Okay. I thought that was more of a design technique.
No, that was basically. And secondly, it looked a bit more like a salt flat sort of a deal.
Yeah, okay.
And at the same time, you might remember, Frontage and Dragsters had fronting. The front wheels were covered over. They tried that for a while. Keep them out of the wind. The wheels out of the wind. Easier to steer out of the wind than in the wind. So a combination. But the original one was to move the wheel forward so it would actually handle on a track.
Yeah.
And then camouflage it.
Camouflage it. Yeah.
And if you have a quick look at the car too on the side of it, you don't mind talking about that again?
No.
Right. If you have a look at the side view of it, now hardly anybody even picks it up. The stripes on the side of it resemble the framework and the chassis of a top fuel car. They look like the chrome molly bars a little bit, with a few other things in it to make it. Then it's got a top fuel wing, wheels there, covered over front end. If you have a look inside it, the whole steering hinges out the way. You sit in a complete 6-point cage right back down here. Steering comes back, clicks on. All the instruments are all above you, just here, even the starting and everything else like that, and the gauges. Everything's here in a complete roll cage, like in a fuel car.
Yeah, so like a proper fuel car.
Proper fuel car. So if you tried to break it down, if you took the body off it, took a shot from the side, it's got fuel cage, phage, wing, this, that, 426, zoomies, and all that sort of stuff.
You really think all these things through.
Yeah, you have to took it 5 years.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then you ended up doing another speedster at the moment, Rolls Royce.
Yeah. Well, I've got that one. Yeah, I'll say it again. Got it off his daughter. It came from Melbourne. He died. He was putting it together underneath his house. Right. He had a sort of half elevated, excavated under the house. He made it into a garage. He was doing it there. So bought it off her, or got it off her at that time. But to get it out, what they had to do was bring a bobcat in, take down the side fence, dig it, excavate the side of it a bit, pull the lattice work there that was built from the garage, take the wheels off it, drop it on some corrugated iron, and skid the whole lot out onto the ground to get it out from under the house.
Jeez.
Yeah. So anyway, we got it at home. He spent 40 years running all over the countryside getting all the bits for it. And I bought it. It says, I want to do a Rolls Royce, but I want to do it the way I want to do it, not as a standard one. And I said, I'll pay the money for it. No drama. It wasn't a bad price anyway, because the guy spent 40 years rounding up all these parts. Because I'm running out of years. I haven't got 40 years to run around the countryside trying to find all this.
Your fuel gauge is getting a bit low.
Yeah, I'm nearly running on empty. All right. In fact, the average, how I heard, going back a couple of months ago, the average Australian male age is 75 or 76. And I'm 77 this year, so I'm on borrowed time already. Yeah. All right, definitely. So anyway, so I got this thing home. I want to build a speedster, and what a speedster is it hasn't got to be a Rolls Royce. They build them out of all the old cars. They used to build them out of trucks. They're a huge thing. A couple of seats sitting up high, no windscreens, no nothing else like that. You've got a couple of pictures of it. I think it'll all make sense. Bit of a longer bonnet. I keep the Rolls Royce motor in it. Modified a few things there. They're a pretty reasonably designed and built motor actually. But I want to drive it on the street. It's number 3. Number 3 is a race car number on it. So got all that done. What else should you say? Pulled everything out of it, the body off it and all that. Put a new floor in it, mahogany floor. Getting all that done. Moved all the steering, so it's up like this. It's way back, laying back down there, so you're sitting on there. Those cars always had mechanics with them, so the driver was here in a mechanic, and the mechanic's seat goes down lower and back further.
Yeah, okay.
All right. Then there's a fuel tank sitting behind him, and it's a real basic sort of a looking thing. And then we've got 3 other things in it. We've got on the lever, we've got exhaust cutout, so it just cuts straight out. All right. With the roller and everything else like that. Turned it into a speedster. We've got 3 levers, one of which is an exhaust cutout. This is when we're on the highway type exhaust cutout. The other lever and everything else brings in an overdrive. So although it's 4-speed, with the overdrive we can actually make it 8-speed, but it's mainly for the top end speed, because they were never ever built to have a top end speed. The roads were dirt, there was potholes in them, and they were, they just didn't get fast. They didn't go fast. So the overdrive's going to help that. So the overdrive will drop the RPM down around about 2,000, 2,500. Then to pick it back up again, everything else to get it, I got 2 big bottles of nitrous oxide hidden in the trunk with a pump.
In the Rolls Royce?
In the Rolls Royce. So
cool.
I figured that the boys in blue will never think about looking in the trunk for nitrous oxide.
I wouldn't expect anything less from you.
And it's all sitting there like that, and that should give us our extra speed on the highway when we actually want it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So again, that's another race car on the street.
Yeah, and it's still got a bit to go with the resto on that. You're still playing around with that?
Yeah. We're getting there. It's just a matter of time. I've got bloody sciatica at present, and a few other things with work and me getting old.
Yeah.
Like I said before, years ago, you couldn't wait to run into the garage. Now you're going to drag yourself
Drag you in there. But it'll get there eventually.
Yeah. It's that close now. It's that close now. A few little things to do, and But it's coming up really nice. We've got this beautiful mahogany flooring. Although I make a race car out of it, I'm really trying to do everything else that if Rolls-Royce would have built one, this is the way they would have built it.
Yeah.
Black leather, diamond studded upholstery on bucket seats, and just everything was really done pretty cool. Rivets, there's rivets everywhere. All the guards have been riveted together. Not the rivets that pop rivets, they're bang rivets.
Blind rivets.
Yeah.
I mean, they would have had nitros in theirs back then if they had it.
No, well, true. But one thing that I found out from a book from Rolls-Royce, where I said I got an exhaust cutout, they did come with an exhaust cutout.
Oh, wow.
But it was set in black and white there on the thing. It's not allowed to be used in England.
Okay.
Right, so they sold them all over the world.
Yeah.
Somewhere else, you could. There was an option. You could use an exhaust cutout, factory.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, no,
Cool.
It's that good. You can climb underneath it. It's that high up off the ground. It's got Bren gun wheels on it. They're spokes, but everything is forged. Yeah. In fact, they call them Bren gun wheels because in World War One they had them on Bren guns.
Bren guns, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So a lot of little different pieces on it and everything else. But the finish, I'm just trying to get the finish up to, and even where the running boards are being cut in two, there's a section out of it. So, and they're in mahogany, the same as what the floor is, with a liner of aluminium around it, just to sort of polish it and to dress it up a bit.
Yeah.
And another step that to get up to it, you got to step.
Yeah, because it's so high.
To get in. The chassis is up about 600 high or more.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah.
So you've also got a Dodge Viper, like a 90, what is it, late 90s?
It's a 98 Dodge Viper GTS with the Gurney Eagle bubble roof in it and all that sort of stuff. V10. 80% of the reason why I got it and everything else like that. Again, it's like a race car on the street. But it's a V10. I've never had a V10 before, and I'm really into the engine part of it. Half the cars I've built, the car itself is just to keep the engine off the floor. Mm-hmm. It's all about the engine. All
about the engine, yeah.
Into the drive line. The thing is just the car over and above that. But it's a nice car, and it's 20. Believe it or not, and everything else like that. It's 25% of the cars sold in 1998 Vipers never made it home.
Ah.
Right? They crashed them.
They crashed them.
Some written off, some not. They all had. Of course, you've got to drive it like a race car. Yeah. There's no ABS braking. There's no management control for handling or anything else like that. Right. One guy did sue Chrysler on one because although he was told it was. I believe he had a Mustang before that. Brought the Mustang in, traded in on one of these, and crashed it on the way home.
Oh, wow.
And he says, I wasn't told. He said, I was told, but I didn't know about how bad it was. All right. So then after that, and everything else, so every time you bought a Viper, right, it was delivered to you by the company with a driver in it who was legally allowed to drive it, right? Could drive it. He would deliver it to you in your driveway, do the handover in the driveway. Last words were basically, if you decide to take it out, that is your choice.
Yeah.
62 Corvette, convertible. Well, they're all convertibles in 62. Right, 63 was the first hard top. Nice car, been restored, not by me. It's a handful to drive, not because it's powerful, it's a cruiser. It handles like a bus, stops like a bloody freight train. So
there'll be no power steering?
No power steering, none of that.
And it's a manual?
It's a manual, all right. So you've got to work out it. Beautiful car, but it's the epitome of an American sports car.
Yeah, the styling on those things.
The styling, the dual headlights, the grille at the front, and it's red on red. You wouldn't think red on red will look any good. Red paint, red upholstery, red carpet, everything's red, bar chrome. You know? So it's it's a nice car. Nice car. And half the reason I bought it and everything goes like that, I'm 77 and I'm still working, which I'm trying to stop that soon.
You are a machine.
Yeah, so I'm trying to justify the fact that while I'm working, I should be getting something out of it.
Yeah.
You know? Like, all I like is cars, so lately all I've been doing is looking for what I like to drive, and that's about it, I suppose.
You drive that to breakfast runs?
Yeah, up. That one lives up at Harrington.
Right.
I'm in Sydney for half the time and Harrington the other half.
Yeah, okay.
So when I'm up that way, that's the coffee and cars.
Coffee and cars.
I love going for the coffee and cars. In fact, all the cars I've got now, I've got about 6 coffee and cars.
Yeah, okay.
And that's what I love doing.
Yeah.
That's a bit of touch it. That's I want them as close to a race car as I can. You know?
Yeah. So you're going to retire one day?
Yeah, this year I hope. I hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that the up here doesn't want to do it, but the body's given away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, well, thanks for coming along to Side Talking, and
pleasure,
appreciate
Michael.
you
Pleasure. It was
telling
good,
us the story.
Good to
Awesome.
do it. Yeah. No, it's been a good morning.
You've had a pretty full-on life with the car scene.
Yeah. It's been pretty good. I'd like to thank Jake for doing all the movies and the sounds and all that. He's doing a good job.
He kills it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
No worries.
This episode of Side Talking is brought to you by Kool-Aid's Hot Rod Shop, specialising in hot rod and strip machine builds, resprays, bodywork, fabrication, chassis work, turnkey builds and trimming. They do a fast turnaround on builds, so if you have a project that's stalled, give them a call. Check them out on Instagram.